Hello?
Hello, Jughead. This is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death.
Relax, Archie. Relax.
Here he is again, the youngster visits the readers of Archie Comics magazine, know and love so well, Archie Andrews and all his gang. And now for our weekly visit to Riverdale. It's Friday evening as we look in on the Andrews home. We find Mr. and Mrs. Andrews in the living room. Mrs. Andrews is sewing, and Mr. Andrews is reading his newspaper.
Mary.
Yes, dear.
What time is it?
Time? 5 minutes to 10.
Already? Oh, time sure flies. Mary, let's go to bed.
Dear? Fred, isn't it a little early to be going to bed?
I don't know, dear. Seems to me we've been up till midnight every night for weeks. Won't hurt any of us to get a good night's sleep for a change.
Well, I suppose you're right, dear. We have been staying up late. But Fred, on second thought, perhaps you better wait for Archie to come home.
Archie, isn't he home yet?
No, dear. We've been sitting right here ever since dinner, and I didn't see him come in, did you?
No, not that I recall. And after the lecture I gave him yesterday, he promised me that hereafter he'd get to bed earlier. Mary, that boy is getting...
Fred, you know how boys are.
Well, I know how I was when I was his age. When my father told me to get home earlier, George, I got home earlier. And no nonsense about it. Where did Archie go, anyway?
I haven't any idea. He just disappeared right after dinner.
Oh, well, let's go to bed, Archie or no Archie.
Well, maybe you're right, dear. Oh, but Fred, would you like a little snack first?
Mary, that's not a bad idea. What's in the icebox?
Well, I have some cheese. Oh, for pity's sake. Would you like to have this hour?
I'll get it.
All right.
Oh, good grief. Jughead.
What'd you expect, Cinderella?
No, Jughead, I certainly did not expect Cinderella. No, Cinderella. I mean, it's Jughead.
Jughead, well, what on earth are you doing here?
Oh, I was just passing by, Mrs. Andrews, and I saw your lights were still on, so I thought I'd come in and see if Archie was still up.
Still up? He isn't even home.
See, was he isn't?
No. Well, I thought he might be out with you someplace.
Not me. I haven't seen Archie all day.
You haven't?
Nope.
Well, isn't there a school dance or something tonight?
Nope.
Well, that's funny. Fred, where do you suppose Archie can be?
Oh, Mary, the boy probably went to a movie or something.
Nope. We've both seen every picture in town.
Really?
Yep.
He's probably over at Betty's house, or Veronica's.
Could be.
Fred, I don't like it.
Don't like what?
Archie's not being home.
Oh, Mary, I don't like it either. I told him to get home earlier.
No, Fred, I don't mean that. I mean there's something funny about nobody knowing where he is. I'm going to call Betty.
What? Oh, now, Mary, you can't go bothering Betty.
Fred, there's no harm in calling Betty. It isn't even 10 o'clock yet, and I can see all the lights on in her house.
All right, Mary, go ahead and call if you want to.
Operator, get me Riverdale 247, please. We'll both sleep better, dear, when we find out where he is.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, Betty. This is Mrs. Andrews. I didn't wake you, did I?
Oh, no, Mrs. Andrews. I was in the shower.
Oh, I thought Archie might be there.
In the shower?
Well, no, Betty. I meant I thought perhaps he was at your house.
Oh, no, Mrs. Andrews. I haven't seen Archie all day.
Oh, you haven't?
No, is something wrong?
Well, nothing we know of, dear, but I don't know where Archie is.
Well, maybe he's at Jughead's house.
Well, I don't think so. Jughead's here, and he says he hasn't seen Archie all day.
Oh. Well, then there's only one other place he'd be.
Where's that?
Veronica's house.
Oh, well, maybe so, Betty. I'll call over there and ask.
Oh, he's there all right.
Well, I hope so. I'm sorry I disturbed you, dear.
Oh, no trouble, Mrs. Andrews. Bye.
Goodbye.
Mary, you see, I told you not to call Betty.
Fred, she didn't mind at all. But Archie isn't there.
Maybe he's at Veronica.
Yes, that's what Betty said. I'll soon find out.
Oh, now, Mary, you're not going to call there, too.
Well, Fred, I certainly am. Riverdale 318, please.
Mary, I don't...
Fred, I just want to know where he is.
Oh, me.
Hello?
Hello, Veronica, this is Mrs. Andrews. I hope I didn't wake you.
Oh, no, Mrs. Andrews. We were just playing records and dancing.
Oh, thank goodness.
Beg pardon?
I didn't know where he was.
Beg pardon?
I'm glad to hear he's at your house.
Mrs. Andrews.
Yes?
I know it's none of my business, but why are you glad that Reggie Mantle's over at my house?
Oh, because I was beginning to get... Who?
Reggie Mantle?
Reggie Mantle? But where's Archie?
I'm sure I have no idea.
You mean he isn't at your house?
My goodness, I hope not. Not while Reggie is here.
Oh, dear. You mean you haven't seen him tonight?
I haven't seen him all day.
Oh, dear.
You sound upset, Mrs. Andrews. Is something wrong?
Well, no, Veronica, no. It's just that nobody seems to know where Archie is.
Have you tried Betty's house?
Yes, she thought he was at your house.
Oh. Well, how about Jughead's house?
No, he isn't there either.
Well, my goodness, where can he be?
Well, I don't know, Veronica, but I suppose we'll find him.
I hope so.
So do I. Well, goodbye, Veronica. Thanks anyway.
That's all right. Bye, Mrs. Andrews.
Fred, he isn't there either.
All right, Mary, so he isn't there either. That's nothing to get excited about. Now, after all, Veronica's not the only girl in Riverdale.
As far as Archie's concerned, she is.
Fred, I'm getting worried.
Oh, now, Mary, just a minute. Now, there is absolutely no point to your worrying about this.
Well,
that boy's old enough to go where he pleases, when he pleases, without getting into trouble. And I'd like you to give me one good reason why you had to pick tonight to start worrying.
well,
Stop being foolish, dear. There isn't a thing in the world to worry about.
Of course not. They always notify the next of kin.
Of course they do.
Huh?
Don't talk that way.
I'm sorry.
All right. Now, Mary, don't you pay any attention to Jughead. I tell you, dear, there's nothing to worry about.
Sure.
Not a thing.
Sure. He had plenty of identification on him.
please stop talking like that.
Oh, Mrs. Andrews, I'm just trying to cheer you up.
Well, don't. Cheer her up like that much longer, and she'll break down.
I'm sorry.
Now, let's stop all this nonsense. Now, Archie's been out until 10 o'clock at night before there, and he'll be out until 10 o'clock at night again. Now, I don't see any reason to start worrying.
Sure. Sometimes people are missing for days before they find the body.
Just take it for the last time
Fred,
now.
that settles it.
Huh?
I am not going to sleep until we find that boy.
But
Jughead doesn't know where he is, Betty doesn't know, and Veronica doesn't know, and we don't know. And there's no dance or no movie that he'd go to. Fred, if that isn't reason enough to worry, I'd like to know what is.
But
Now, Fred, you and Jughead are going out to look for Archie right now, and I don't want you to come back until you've found him.
We'll find him, Mrs. Andrews. Dead or alive.
Jughead! Don't talk that way. Fred, go on now. Put your coat on.
Oh, me. All right, dear. All right. But, Jughead, the next time you come by our house and see the lights on, will you please let us know so we can turn them off?
Mr. Andrews, do you want me to call the police station while you check up on the hospitals?
Jughead, if you don't stop being so melodramatic, you're going to need a hospital.
Huh?
Now, we are not going to the police station or the hospital. We are going to the drugstore first. Unless I miss my guess, the only trouble Archie is having is getting the last sip out of a chocolate soda.
No, I never thought of the drugstore. I bet that's where Archie is.
Probably is. Come on, we'll take my car and... Oh, good grief.
What's the matter?
I just remembered. I meant to stop for gasoline on the way home, and I forgot all about it, and the gas tank is practically empty.
Gee whiz. Have you got enough left to get to a gas station?
Maybe if we coast down the hill.
Mr. Andrews, I got...
How do these things happen to me?
Mr. Andrews,
Just when I'm in a hurry, I have to worry about gasoline.
Mr. Andrews,
So what's the matter with you?
Nothing. But we don't have to take your car.
Well, if you think I'm going to walk all over this town, you're crazy.
Oh, I don't mean what, Mr. Andrews. But Archie's jalopy is right here. Let's take that.
Archie's still... Why, Jughead, I'm glad you thought of that. It's a fine idea. We'll go in that.
Sure. And don't forget, we already know something about Archie.
Yeah, what's that?
If Archie's been killed, it wasn't in an automobile accident. Okay, Mr. Andrews, I won't say another word.
I hated to make Fred go looking for Archie, but he's never just disappeared like this before. Oh, dear. Maybe that's news about Archie now. Hello, Mrs. Andrews.
Betty, what are you doing here?
Well, after you called, Mrs. Andrews, I got to worrying about Archie, and I came over to see if everything is all right. Oh, that's sweet of you, dear, but I don't know if everything's all right or not. Mr. Andrews just went out to look for Archie. golly, wasn't he at Veronica's house?
No, he wasn't. And Jughead says he and Archie have seen all the movies in town, and there's no dance or anything at the school tonight.
Oh, golly, where could he be?
That's a question. That's what I'm getting so worried about.
Oh, please don't worry, Mrs. Andrews. There's nothing to worry about.
No.
They say no news is good news.
Yes, I know, Betty, but I just seem to have a premonition that something terrible's happened.
Golly, you do?
Yes, Betty, I do.
Oh, golly, my Aunt Matilda had a premonition once.
She did?
She dreamt that my Uncle Oscar was going to die.
And did he?
Worse than that.
What?
He ran off with a tattooed lady in the circus.
Betty, you see, when people have premonitions, they usually turn out to be true. Now, that settles it. I'm going to call the police.
The police?
Yes, Archie's definitely missing, and I want them to find him before it's too late.
Too late for what?
I don't know. Operator, get me the police.
Oh, golly.
Hello? This is Mary Andrews of 317 Maple Street, and I want to report a missing person. Yes, it's my son. His name is Archie. Yes, Archie Andrews. Well, he's a high school student, about 5'7", and the last time I saw him, he was wearing gray slacks and a red bow tie and a black sweater with a big letter R on it. That's right. Anything else? Oh, yes. In all likelihood, he's driving his jalopy, an old wreck. There's only one like it in town.
Mr. Andrews?
What?
Maybe we would have been better off walking.
Don't be so silly. This jalopy is faster than walking.
Yeah, but when you walk, you don't feel so much like a milkshake.
Never mind, Jug. This was your idea, so stop complaining. There's the drugstore right down the block there.
Yeah, you better put on the brakes, Mr. Andrews.
With a full block to go?
You bet. I know this jalopy better than you do.
Jug, that's silly. Now watch. I'll stop this car right in front of that drugstore, or my name isn't Fred Andrews.
Hiya, Joe.
Yes. Jug, don't be funny. I'll back up to the drugstore.
Mr. Andrews, you might miss it again. It'll be easier if I got out and walked back.
Oh, all right, Jughead. You look and see if Archie's in there, and I'll wait for you here.
Okay, Mr. Andrews. Be right back.
Don't stop to have any sodas now.
I won't.
Fine thing. Mary gets all upset over nothing. I have to go traipsing all over town in this old wreck looking for Archie when he probably
Well, now, this looks interesting.
Oh. Hello, officer.
Hello.
I'm not parking here. I'm just...
Tell me something. Is this your car, mister?
My car? Well, no, as a matter of fact, it isn't my car.
I see. And do you happen to know whose car it is?
Well, yes, I do. It belongs to...
Well. And just what did you do with him?
Well, I took him down to the... Do with him? Do with who?
The youngster who owns this car.
Archie?
Oh, then you do know him.
Oh, yes, I've met him several times. Do I know him? Of course I know him.
And perhaps you can tell me where he is now.
I haven't the vaguest idea.
Oh, so you won't talk, eh?
Officer, look,
That's all I wanted to know. Now move over, mister, and start this jalopy. You and I are going to take a little trip down to headquarters.
Oh, but officer, I can't right now.
I can start this jalopy.
Yes, sir.
And don't you try any tricks.
Yes. I mean, no, sir. Officer, look, I'm sure you don't understand. If you only give me a chance, I can explain everything.
Andrews, I looked all over the drugstore. There wasn't a sign of Archie anywhere in there, and he was... Well, there isn't a sign of Mr. Andrews either.
Oh, dear. Betty, I wish someone would call.
Golly, Mrs. Andrews, I wish you wouldn't be so nervous. They'd call if there was anything to tell you. You shouldn't worry so much. It's not good for you.
Oh, Betty, I can't help worrying.
Mrs. Andrews, suppose I make some hot tea. Maybe that would make you feel better.
Betty, the only thing that'll make me feel better is knowing where Archie is.
Well, let me make you some tea anyway, Mrs. Andrews. It'll just take me a minute.
Well, all right, dear.
Betty's so sweet. How can I help worrying?
They must have some news about Archie by now. Oh, dear. Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello, Mary. This is Fred.
Oh, Fred, where are you?
At the police station.
The police? Fred, what's he done?
What's who done?
Archie.
Well, Mary, I'm not here because of Archie.
You're not?
But I am here because of his jalopy.
Well, what's the jalopy done?
Nothing. I got arrested for driving it. Some darn fool reported it stolen or something.
Oh, dear.
For Pete's sake, come down here and identify me right away, will you?
I'll be right there. Is your car here?
Yes, dear, but you better
I'll be there in 2 minutes. Bye.
No, but Mary, wait.
Oh, dear, I've never seen anything like this. I report Archie missing and they arrest Fred.
Here's the key, Mrs. Andrews. Mrs. Andrews? Mrs. Andrews? Mrs. Andrews! Oh, so where did she go to? I knew she was acting funny, but I didn't think
Mrs. Andrews! Mrs. Andrews! Mr. Andrews just disappeared. I got out of the job and went to the drugstore for a minute and... Oh, Betty.
Jughead, what are you doing here?
I'm looking for Mrs. Andrews. Where is she?
She just disappeared.
She what?
She disappeared right into thin air.
Boy, this is the disappearingest family I ever saw. When did this all happen?
Right after I said I'd go make her some tea.
See? Maybe you should have offered her some Ovaltine.
Jughead, don't be funny. I'm worried about her. She seems so upset.
Upset?
She kept pacing up and down and saying, why don't they call? Why don't they call?
See, she's cracking up.
Jughead, don't talk that way.
Well, you never can tell. I'm reading a book right now about a woman who lost a child and went all to pieces.
God, Jughead, you don't think that
Could be. Look at it this way. Archie's missing. Mrs. Andrews is worried. She doesn't know what's happened to him. She waits and waits, hour after hour.
Oh, Jughead, it's only a few minutes.
Same thing. Her nerves are tense. She's worried. She's frightened. She's upset.
Yes?
She can't stand the waiting. The phone that won't ring. The empty house. Her son, her little darling baby boy is gone.
Yes?
And then what happens? What? You come in and offer her tea and boom, she snaps.
Oh, golly.
It's all too much for her. She's got to get out of the house. She's got to get away from here. She can't stand it.
God, Jughead, what do we do?
I don't know. That's as far as I've gotten in the book.
Jughead, there is only one thing for us to do.
What's that?
Call the police to look for her and warn them that Mrs. Andrews isn't in her right mind.
Oh, I've never seen a night like this. Archie lost, Fred in jail, and everybody running around in circles. Oh, dear. Now, what's the matter with that motor? I can't... Oh, dear. Out of gas. Of all time, just when I'm in a hurry. Dear. Well, there's only one thing to do. I'll just have to go find a gas station and get some gas, that's all. Sometimes I wonder what that family of mine would do if I didn't take care of everything.
What did the police say about Mrs. Andrews, Betty?
Well, I gave them a description of her, Jughead, and they said they'd send an alarm out right away.
Well, with so many of the Andrews family running around loose, the police ought to come up with at least one of them.
Jughead, this is no time to be funny. I'm really worried about her. Oh, golly, maybe that's her. Veronica! Betty, what are you doing here? Oh, that's a long story. What are you doing here? Well, I just drove Reggie Mantle home, and I thought I'd drop by and see if they found Archie yet. Oh, hi, Joe.
Hi, Veronica.
Well, no, Veronica, they didn't. My goodness, I wonder where he can be. Well, we're looking for Mrs. Andrews now. Mrs. Andrews? She disappeared.
And Mr. Andrews did, too.
Mr. Andrews? Oh, golly, maybe they found somebody. Chuck, you answer it.
I got it. Hello?
Jughead, is that you?
Yeah, is that you, Mr. Andrews?
Yes, where's my wife?
Gee whiz, how did you hear of it?
Hear of what?
You mean you don't know?
Don't know what?
See, maybe I better not tell you.
Better not tell me what?
It would only worry you.
Chuck, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but if someone didn't get down here to identify me right away, they'll lock me up for the night.
Lock you up? Where are you?
At the police station.
Gee whiz, what did you do?
I didn't do anything, Jughead. It's just a mistake. And as soon as someone identifies me, they'll let me out.
Gee, Mr. Andrews, maybe you'd be better off making a clean breast of it. not a confession.
But
Her state's evidence.
Jughead,
Throw yourself on the mercy of the court.
Jughead! For Pete's sake, cut that out.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Now, I tell you, I haven't done anything. Nothing at all. Even the police believe that, but they want someone to identify me for routine reasons. Now, do you understand?
Anything you say may be held against you.
Jughead, look. Quit playing lawyer and get someone down here to identify me.
Well, Mr. Andrews, Veronica's here, and she's got a car. We could send her down there.
Well, Jughead's fine. Now, for Pete's sake, tell her to get down here in a hurry, will you?
Okay, but remember, Mr. Andrews,
Remember what?
a man's innocent until he's proven guilty.
Jughead!
Okay, bye, Mr. Andrews.
Goodbye.
Jug, what happened?
I'm not sure, Betty. But, Veronica, you better go right down to the police station.
The police station?
Yeah, you gotta spring Mr. Andrews before he goes up the river. This mob's gotta stick together, see?
Now, I was sure there was a gas station on this street somewhere.
Just a minute there, lady. Just a minute.
Oh, Officer Good. I'm looking for...
What's your name?
Mary Andrews, but I'm looking for...
Well. Mary Andrews, is it?
Yes, officer, but I'm in a hurry right now.
Oh,
And I have to-
just what is the hurry?
I can't find a gas station.
Where did you lose it?
Right over here somewhere. Lose it? Officer, I didn't lose it. I'm trying to find a gas station because my car ran out of gas.
Now, that was most unfortunate. And just where were you going when your car ran out of gas?
Well, I was on the way to the police station.
How interesting. How very interesting. And exactly what were you going to do at the police station?
Get my husband out of jail.
Oh, really? Your husband? And just what, may I ask, is he in for?
Well, I don't know, officer. He got arrested while he was looking for my son who was missing.
Well, your son is missing, and your husband's in jail.
Yes.
And your car is out of gas.
Yes.
Don't call me officer. Call me Mr. Anthony.
What?
Now, madam, don't you get excited.
Oh.
It's not good for you in your condition.
But I tell you,
Just
I'm
keep
looking...
calm, keep
But-
calm, and everything's going to be all
But,
right.
officer,
We'll
I'm
take
going-
you home, and in the morning all these horrid thoughts will have vanished with the night.
But, officer, are you crazy?
Am I crazy? Am I crazy? You know, that's rather nice.
Officer, I tell you,
All right
I'm
now,
all right.
madam.
I have to
You
get-
just come along with me, and I'll take you home where you have the very best of care.
But, officer, I don't want to go home. I have to go to the police
I
station.
know.
Officer, let go of my arm. Golly, Chuck, I wish somebody would call up or something.
Me too. I've never seen the phone in this house so quiet.
Betty, where's my wife?
Golly, Mr. Andrews.
She was Mr. Andrews. How's it feel to be out?
Jughead, never mind your jokes and tell me what's happening around
Well,
here.
I'm not sure we know, Mr. Andrews. What happened to you?
I got arrested for driving Archie's jalopy, and I still don't know why. And if Veronica here hadn't come down to the police station and identified me, I'd still be there.
You took a lot of identifying, too.
Now, look, what is this Veronica tells me about Mrs. Andrews being missing?
Well, yes, you see, she...
Now what? Officer, you...
Sorry to bother you, mister, but does this lady live here?
Mary!
Darling, Mrs. Andrews. Oh, goodness.
But I thought you were missing.
She's got something missing. But just tell me, will you, whether she lives here or not.
Of course she does. She's my wife.
That's all I wanted to... Say, mister, haven't I seen you someplace before?
Now, listen.
Fred, how'd you get out of jail?
Now, Mary,
I thought so.
Officer,
You sound all right to me, Mrs. Andrews.
You're broke out of jail.
Jughead, will you please...
Right out of jail.
Now, just a minute. Just 1 minute. Now, that's better. Now, listen to me, all of you. This nonsense has gone far enough. Too far, in fact.
I'll say it has.
Yes, Mr. Andrews. Yes, dear.
An hour ago, I was ready to get to sleep. And then, just because my wife starts worrying about Archie, we get mixed up with policemen and jalopies and all sorts of things until I'm ready to go...
Stir crazy?
No, Jughead, and be quiet. Now, it's high time we straighten this out and decided where the dickens Archie is.
You mean your son is really missing?
He certainly is.
Yes, and I took a jalopy and got arrested for stealing it. Now, what I want to know is, who called the police?
Fred, I'm afraid I did.
Mary, you did?
When I told him to look for Archie, I told him to look for his jalopy.
Oh, fine. Mary, why on earth didn't
Fred,
you...
never mind now. I'm sorry. But what I want to know is who almost got me arrested. Golly, I guess I did, Mrs. Andrews.
You did? But why, Betty?
Well, you see, I was worried about you anyway, and then when you ran out of the house, I decided I'd better call the police.
Oh, for pity's sake. So that's why this policeman stopped me.
Madam, do you mean that impossible story you told me was true?
It certainly was, officer.
Well, bless my soul. Well, now, madam, if you're not Daffy and your husband is not a jailbreaker, I have only one thing left to say to all of you. Good night, folks.
Well, good night, officer. Good night.
Good night.
Well, thank heavens we finally got things straightened out.
Yes, dear, but there's one thing you seem to forget.
Well, what's that, dear?
The thing that started all this. Where is Archie?
Oh, dear. Hasn't he turned up yet?
No, he hasn't, and Mary, even I'm getting worried about him now.
What's all the noise?
Archie!
Sorry.
Oh, my goodness!
Archie, where the dickens have you been?
And what are you doing in your pajamas?
What do you think I'm doing? I've been in bed for 2 hours. But how am I supposed to sleep with all this noise? But you mean to say you were up in bed? Oh,
The Andrews will be back in just a moment. Meanwhile, tell me, friends, are you saving for a rainy day? The best people are doing it, so it must be a good thing. Must pay off. So how about that? An emergency fund all saved away can make any dark day the future may have in store much easier to take. Especially when your emergency money is invested in United States savings bonds. That's right. Savings bonds issued by our own government and as safe as our government. They're one of the best places you can find for your savings because savings bonds make your money grow and grow. In only 10 years, every $3 you put in grows into $4. Every $300, $400. And maybe you didn't know it, but saving in savings bonds is just like rolling off a log. Yes, sir. You can join either of 2 plans that make saving as certain as the sun. If you're employed, join the payroll savings plan where you work. Now, if you're in business for yourself, you're a builder or a farmer or a contractor, join the Bond-a-Month plan, a free service where you bank. For future security, save in savings bonds now. And now, back to the Andrews. It's later that night, and everything has been settled, and the family's gone to sleep.
Fred, answer the phone.
Hello?
Mr. Andrews?
Yeah.
This is the police department. We finally found your son.
Good. You finally found my what?
Your son? We've got him down here at the police station. But he's in a very bad way. He keeps insisting his name is Jughead.
He keeps insisting his name is Jughead. I give up.
Of the Adventures of Archie Andrews, written by Charles Jantel and based on the copyrighted feature appearing in Archie Comics magazine. Archie is played by Bob Hastings, Jughead by Holland Stone. Mom and Dad Andrews are played by Allie Sherman and Arthur Hull. Veronica and Betty by Gloria Mann and Rosemary Wright. The Policeman was Charles Irving, and this program is produced and directed by Kenneth McGregor. Listen next Saturday at this same time for more of the Merry Adventures of Archie Andrews. This is Dick Dudley wishing you all a very pleasant weekend. So long, everybody.
Programs. Get your programs here. Phil Harris, Frankie Remley, and Julius return tomorrow to worry lovely Alice Faye with their flair for trouble. Hear the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show tomorrow on NBC. And later, hear Gertrude Lawrence starring in Lady in the Dark on Theater Guild on the Air. That's Phil Harris and Alice Faye and Theater Guild tomorrow on NBC. Hear the stars of tomorrow on Hollywood Star Theater on NBC.
It's a few seconds before 8 p.m. BULOVA Boulevard Watch Time. America runs on Boulevard Time. Yes, wherever Americans travel, they depend on supremely accurate Boulevard Watch Time. This handsome Boulevard watch with the world-famed 20...